welcome to A Year of Career, 52 Practical Answers to Your Questions. I'm Erin Wolfram. I own and operate Career Advantage and Career Advantage Golf, and I help folks all over the world feel more confident and prepared throughout their job search. I help them with resumes, cover letters, mock interviews, LinkedIn profiles, personal portfolios, anything job search related. But in this podcast each week, what I do is I answer one career development or job search question from the public. And this week's question is, how many jobs should I apply for? And to be completely honest, I cannot answer that question with a number. That would be impossible. Every single person's job search experience is going to be different. Everyone's situation is different. There are a lot of variables that impact how many jobs you may need to apply for. And so what I really recommend is to focus on quality of applications rather than quantity. So for some people, they're going to be able to apply for one job and they're going to get an offer and they're going to accept that position and everything worked out really well. For other people, they may need to apply for several jobs over several months before they find something that's a good fit for them and they ultimately accept a new position. So what I really recommend, like I said, is to focus on quality. I've had people contact me who are just discouraged in the job search. They've been searching for several months and they haven't been able to find any opportunities. They're not getting any interviews and they're just really irritated with the whole process. And so the first question that I ask them is, how many jobs have they applied for? And typically they'll tell me they've applied for almost 100 positions in a few months. And then we talk about if they tailored their materials and if they were strategic about the jobs that they applied for. And as you probably expected, the answer is typically no. They are just looking on places like Indeed or LinkedIn and they're finding job titles that match the title that they're looking for and they're just applying. They're just sending the same resume out over and over and over again to any position that has the job title that they're looking for. And the next question that I ask them is if they're sending a tailored cover letter as well. And typically the answer is no. Or they'll say sometimes they'll send a cover letter, but it's not very tailored. It's pretty generic. So for the most part, these people who are really frustrated with the job search process tend to be sending out a lot of applications with generic resumes and no cover letter. And I think that that's not a very effective way to go through the job search process. So what I recommend is for each position that you apply for, make sure you have a good reason for applying and that you're able to relay that why, that passion for the position and the organization really well in your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile potentially, and ultimately in the interview. So that way you're sending applications out more strategically and hopefully will have more success. So how do you do that? My first recommendation is to do your research on the job and company before you even apply for a position. So utilize the internet, search online, tap into your network, utilize LinkedIn, do informational interviews with people who work at the organization if you can, all of those things before you even apply for a position. That will help you gather information to decide if it really is something that you're interested in, if it sounds like you would be a good fit, and then you can take all of that information and really tailor your resume and cover letter as you submit that application. And then if you've tapped into your network, you've utilized LinkedIn, you've done informational interviews, you can also follow up with those people who have connections to that organization and let them know that you've submitted your tailored applications, and hopefully that can help you kind of get your foot in the door with the organization. So something to keep in mind is that hiring committees are looking for qualified candidates, yes. But more importantly, they're looking for qualified candidates who really want to work for their organization. They want people who can add value to their organization, who really want to work there, and who are a good fit. So the more that you can do your research in advance before you even apply for a position, the better you're going to be able to express that interest and passion in your application materials and hopefully eventually in an interview. And that's going to be most attractive to hiring committees, and you're more likely going to get that job offer. So I just wanted to reiterate that my biggest suggestion while you're doing a job search is to focus on doing your research and submitting quality applications to make sure your job search is more effective. So thank you so much for listening to this week's A Year of Career podcast. If you would like me to answer one of your questions on this podcast, you can always email me at Erin@careeradvantageresumes.com. Thank you and have a great rest of your week.